Hey everybody. I don't know if we're on YouTube, but I think we are. Which makes it more confusing why it didn't work yesterday. Yep, we're on YouTube. Yesterday I couldn't restream. It wouldn't let me. And I did nothing, and now it's letting me. So, okay, good. Yeah, so yesterday's stream was just on Twitch because we couldn't get the YouTube part to work. Now both working. Welcome to Sub Sunday. Don't forget to sub, and don't forget to gift subs. We're trying to get to 500. Karen streamed for about 7 hours today. She finished about 30 minutes ago. And I'll be streaming. Would you ever buy an electric car? No. Because then you have to buy stuff for your house, and they don't go anywhere, and they're expensive. If the cars could drive fast, or they could go 1,000 miles on one charge, getting the charging unit was easy, then I would consider it. But right now, it's like in the beta stage. So. Okay, so we need 47 subs today, which is doable. We've gotten 47 subs in a day. And then we'll have 500, which is good because a couple weeks ago we didn't have 400. Yeah, I don't think cars cost $350 unless this is 1940 or something. Man, the truth hurts. I bought a car for $400 once. It was worth about $400. Yeah, exactly. So we're having Sub Sunday today, which means I analyze games that subs submitted on Discord today. Today, there were 10 games submitted on Discord. That should get us through the stream. I know the tournament board is closer to my shirt than the green board. But I never do the green board, and I don't like the tournament board. It's like weird. It's not solid. It's like bumpy. So I decided my shirt and the board would be slightly off color. But they're just different shades of green. Speaking of green, don't forget to donate subs and to sub. And I start Sub Sunday I start analyzing the games at 8 because then we're on Chess TV and we have 2,000 viewers. I don't want Chess TV people to miss a game. I made coffee, so when I finish this cup, I'm going to go upstairs and get more. Let's see what they're saying on YouTube. Hello, good evening. Go Ben. Hello, Ben. How you doing? Much love, Ben. I was just watching your video on the Kali system with notification popped up. Well, thanks for all the chat. That was good chat. Better than usual on YouTube. I didn't have to read the YouTube chat when I streamed yesterday because I wasn't on YouTube. I saw Michigan won Big Ten championship today against Wisconsin. I watched the first 5 minutes of the game, then I realized I don't care at all about college basketball. So then I stopped watching. But I saw the first 5 minutes. In 12 days, Archer and I will drive to Charlotte, play in the Charlotte Spring Open. Which has 140 players. There's 4 sections. We're both playing in the top section. Archer could play in the second section, but he decided to play up a section. Last week, because time changed, they put me on Chess TV an hour after I'm normally on. So hopefully that's been rectified. Although I'm a little worried since Botez Live is streaming. Usually they're on Chess TV. Although they have 1.8 thousand viewers, which indicates they're not on Chess TV. Those are the numbers I have when I'm on Chess TV. Those are the numbers that they have when they're not on Chess TV. Esserman's refutation is shallow and pedantic. Feingold defense book was written in 2000, 25 years ago. God damn. Even older than Esserman's book. I made a lot of money off that book, depending on what your definition of a lot is. And my co-author, he paid all the expenses and did everything. So he made nothing. But I basically got as many free copies as I wanted. And then I sold them to people, and I sold them to businesses that sell books. And we still sell them on the internet today. Right before he passed away, he sent me all of the books that he didn't sell. So we still have about 100 left. I think he made like 3,000. Yeah, that's what we do, Rurf May. If you find a Feingold defense book that's unsigned, that's a collector's item. I've made 2 videos on our YouTube channel showing how to mate with Bishop and Knight. Yesterday on the stream, I mated with Bishop and Knight 3 times. And we're going to make another video at some point with more information on Bishop and Knight. So you're banned. Trying to learn. Karen told me I have to lose 1 or 2 games on Sub Saturday or people won't want to play me anymore. And I told her, I can't lose. Have you seen them play? And they said, just try harder. Giving odds wouldn't help you guys. I think to make the game fair, where you guys would win half the time, that's fair, would be if I got a lobotomy before every Sub Saturday. Was that a joke, or did Kieran really say that? I mean, I said it, so it has to be a joke. I made it sound plausible? Wow. You misspelled Saturday and wrote Sunday. It's funny, I was having alphabet soup, and there was a message in my alphabet soup. Like the letters formed words. So I had Karen come over and I said, look, my alphabets say woo, like they were trying to scare me. And then she said, those are Cheerios. Now, does Bonarici know if that's a joke or not? Not enough people laughed at that. It was too complicated. Ooh, ghost peppers are good. If I subscribe on YouTube, can I play you? Okay, there's several answers to your question. The short answer is no. And the reason is I'm not playing anybody today. That's Saturday. Today's Sunday. I don't play people on Sunday. The second part to answer your question is no. You have to sub on Twitch to play me on Saturday. I don't understand the chat on YouTube. That's why I'm not reading it. They're talking about making burritos with spaghetti, then possibly related. Somebody said it'll take a ton of cheese. But I'm not sure that's related. Then somebody on Twitch wrote Spaghetti-O. So I don't know. Okay, we've just been added to Chess TV. It's 8 o'clock. So welcome all the new viewers on Twitch. We're doing Sub Sunday today, which means subs to the channel have entered their games on Discord today. And then before the stream started, I put them in the classroom so I can look at the games and, make fun of them or say how great everything is. And we have 10 games today that were submitted. If you want to submit a game, it's too late, but by about an hour. You have to do it before 7 p.m. on Sunday, and you have to be a sub to the Twitch channel, not to the YouTube. And you have to do it on Discord. Since very few people can do that, all that stuff that I said, we usually have about 10 games. Then during the stream, we have about 20 inquiries about how to do it. And can I submit my game? I don't want to sub, and I'm a sub on Twitch. And why won't you look at my game? And can I play you today? And so forth. So everything you say is wrong. There's nothing you can do now except watch the stream and donate. And next Sunday, before the stream starts, if you sub to the channel and connect your Twitch account to your Discord account on my channel and submit the game in the proper channel, then I'll look at your game. And subbing costs approximately $5 a month. And I do this every Sunday. So every Saturday, you can play one or more games with me. And every Sunday, you can have one of your games analyzed. And this costs you $5 a month. Thomas Beckett donated $3.99 Canadian. I hope there's no tariffs. Man, trying to learn Bandu. Look, do you want your game analyzed by a weak-old grandmaster or who makes fun of you, or a strong young grandmaster who will improve your game? Yeah, but you shouldn't ban him. He's on the stream a lot. You can unban him now. Also, I like to spend a lot of Sunday not analyzing the game and just talking to the chat. So let me ask a serious question. Let's say, like, I'm serious too. Don't give joke answers. let's say Trump and Musk get into a big fight, and Trump is furious, and he wants nothing to do with Musk, and Trump insanely tries to deport Musk. Could Trump get the US government to deport Musk? Or does Musk have too much money and he would fight it in court and he would never lose if that came to pass? Who has more gravitas, Trump or Musk, when it comes to deporting Musk? I thought Trump said you could deport American citizens. I thought he said you're not a citizen unless, like, he says so. Like, he would revoke his citizenship just by saying so. Right, I'm just saying in practice what would happen. It seems like they're illegally deporting people now anyway. So what's one more? But maybe Musk has too much money and power to be deported. You deleted that message? Musk Musk should be arrested? Man, you should pin that. God damn. Ben, what's your opinion on GM Amon's Building Habits series on YouTube? I mean, you're insinuating I know what you're talking about, when obviously I don't. I don't know what any other streamer or YouTuber or Grandmaster does. I just know what I do. Also, I don't know what I do. People are like, I watched your video on this topic. That was great. I have no idea what you're talking about. And then you guys are like, yeah, you made it 4 years ago. If I made it more than 3 weeks ago, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't looked at the game you submitted. I just entered the moves. Okay, let's look at the first game. We'll see what Sitbear had to say for himself. Okay, my rating hadn't uploaded. Oh, or hadn't updated. So I can't even read. Although I can't see out of my right eye. So it's cloudy. It's actually worse. If I couldn't see out of my right eye, I could read with my left eye. But out of my right eye is cloudy. So that makes it like worse. That I can see a little. My rating hadn't updated. So I was basically playing down a section the whole tournament. Okay, that statement's false. Anyway, I played the wrong move order in the opening. Shocking. But did okay with the isolated queen pawn. Okay, White's rating is 1629, which seems a bit high for Sitbear. And Black's rating is 1324. And it's 40 and 80, sudden death 30, delay 30. Delay 30? What? Kobe. Okay, so our hero, Sitbear, is white. Okay, it's the collie. Not very exciting, so we can call it the melancholy. Okay, now White made an error by playing e4 too quickly. Typically, in this structure, if White wants to play e4, White prefaces it with d takes c5, bishop takes c5, then e4. Although you can't play e4 here, it's too early. You should castle and prepare e4. Okay, but Sitbear's a bit overrated, so he played e4, giving himself isolated pawn with basically no compensation. Now, here the engine wants to play knight b4, attacking the bishop. Then, when Black takes on e4 later, the knight has the d5 square to go to. But taking is fine. I mean, I wouldn't play bishop check and bishop takes, but that's okay. Not losing. The engine slightly prefers white, but I would call this position equal. Rook b8 is it's the kind of bad move that I was talking about yesterday in one of my chess lessons. Black is afraid that White will have pressure on b7 at some point, so Black stops it by making sure there's no pressure on b7. But in stopping it, puts his rook on a terrible square. Frankly, terrible. c5 is a weird move, but I guess it doesn't lose. Yeah, and here Black should definitely play bishop c6. That's why Black played knight e7. Played bishop c6. I mean, that's the only logical move if you play knight e7. Okay. Queen b6, queen's okay there. Yeah, now after knight e5, it's hard to play bishop c6. Okay, and that moves a blunder, which loses the game immediately. Black needs the d8 square for the queen to retreat to in case of knight c4. And instead, black took away the d8 square. Suspicious. The best move is bishop e8. Because black doesn't want to give away their bishop for the knight anyway. So bishop e8 is just safe. And now knight c4 wins. Because black's queen is not good. So now black can resign. So this was a one-move game. Players played okay. They played their rating. Then black trapped their own queen, and white found the winning move, proving his rating. That his rating is justified, and he's not super overrated. a6 is the only available square for the queen, and then rook a5 traps the queen. So if you're going to move your queen out, make sure you have escape squares if your queen gets attacked. Black seems to have trouble finding the resign button. Hey, black found the resign button. Well, that was the best game that we've looked at today. Unfortunately, black played rook d8 losing, and Sitbear found knight c4 winning. If Sitbear didn't play knight c4, then rook d8 doesn't work out so badly. Although it might work out badly, because black has to untrap their queen at some point. It's C.L. Smith. It was OTB. It's being tongue-in-cheek to say they found the resign button. When people play live poker, they say he found the call button because it's making fun of differences. Yeah, Sitbear, that's actually how I like to win. Nothing happens. My opponent makes a huge blunder. The evaluation goes from 0.1 to +5, and then I find the winning continuation. I can get more coffee, but I'm too tired to get coffee. Is that a catch-22? Which originally was catch-17, but another book came out that year with number 17 in it. So they called it catch-22. Okay, I'll get more coffee, and then you guys can donate 43 subs. By the way, the restream worked. I don't know why. I walked very slowly down the stairs since I fell last week. Also, I always do. Man, nobody donated and nobody chatted. I was gone for like a minute. Okay, we'll get to the next game. I assume our hero is black, since I recognize his name. Hi, Ben. You revoked my 2,000 rating last week. I'm hoping this game will convince you to reinstate it. I fell below a minute on move 29, while my opponent finished the game with over 4 minutes on the clock. Black is your hero. Played on chess.com. It's a 10-minute game. White is 1936. Black is 1974. This game's very colorful, which means the engine says both players made a lot of bad moves. It's a 10-minute game. No, it wasn't a Peter Griffin kind of fall. Luckily. I do think of that when I fall down the stairs. You fell last week. Are you okay? It was last week. It hurt for like 10 seconds. I fall down the stairs all the time. It doesn't really hurt. Okay, so I'm black. I mean, our hero's black. Okay, it was a 2 nights, and black played the Traxler variation, which doesn't have a good reputation, but I play it. It's probably why I play it. Still theory. Okay, so both sides are playing correctly. The engine wants black to play queen e8 and then queen g6. Played rook f8, which is okay. Okay, now queen e8. Probably transposes. Doesn't like d6, but d6 is okay. Yeah, it really hates that move. It wants to play king d8, confusing the audience. It's like chess 960. And it doesn't like d3. It wants white to play c3 and kick the knight out, because the knight's pretty strong. Now it says it's about equal. C3 double question mark. So C3 is the kind of move you make when you're very low rated. And white's rating is 1936. And these kinds of puzzles are in Puzzle Rush and puzzles for players under 1,000, where you're attacking a piece, they're attacking a piece. The answer is to move your piece that's attacked, take another piece, while you're still threatening the original piece on G5. There's a lot of puzzles like that where that's the answer. White's rated 1936. And obviously, on my stream, I say a beginner is somebody like up to 2200, and then this guy proves my point. C3 is a beginner's mistake, and yet white's rated 1936. If I had the black pieces, I would be ashamed to show this game. Because C3 is such a terrible move. But there's moves played in the future where black also gets double question mark. So this game is pretty suspicious. Okay, chat's not great. We'll continue. I'm going to have to contact whatever authority is appropriate, probably Danny Wrench. Make sure your rating never gets to 2,000. Rook F6. Rooks are typically worth more than bishops. You shouldn't pin your rook. Just king F7 and you're up a piece. You have two bishops and he has one bishop. However, I won't contact the authorities because you took my saying, always sack the exchange, to heart. Now it says white can play D4 and white's better. White did play D4. Man, now white should play F4. That's probably not a move I would consider. But I like F4 because if the E5 pawn takes either way, then rook E1 check wins the queen. So I actually like F4. I just wouldn't have played it. But it's a good move. Okay, that's a mistake. Now black's bishop is very strong on B6. King D6 is the wrong way. You should play King F8. You want your king to be safe, not always a target of attack. Queen G8's a weird move. Yeah, king takes just loses. The only move to maintain equality is bishop D4. I mean, bishop D4 is obviously the correct move because we don't want our bishop to get trapped with C5. And the bishop on D4 is a monster. Now white's completely winning. Black's king's on C6. And rook C8 is an absurdly bad move because it allows rook takes a7. Now, I must acknowledge I have no idea what the game last week was where I revoked your 2000 rating. I don't remember one move of it. But it definitely wasn't worse than how you're playing this game. Black's play this game is, I mean, neither one of you should be 1900. You should both be like 1200. Rook c8 is pathetically bad. Rook takes a7 is actually just mate. The engine announces mate after rook takes a7. Mate in 4. Not even like mate in 10. Just mate immediately. b6 check is winning, but it's not as good as rook takes a7. And then rook takes a7 is again mate in 4. You should have taken on b6. And that move's terrible. In my opinion, the worst move of the game is taking with the pawn. Because then after king a8, black's king is safe. You definitely don't want a pawn here. You take with the rook, and you're threatening queen takes b7 mate. Black does something about it, I guess. Then white plays queen a4 and rook a8 mate. So this is just checkmate. Sitbear's game is looking better and better. White is still better. Now black is better because that move doesn't make any sense. Doubling rooks behind your pawn that can never move. Ugh. I don't know why white would make a move like this and allow a skewer. Now the question is, white didn't see f4, but did black see f4? Oh! Yeah, black just plays f4, the bishop attacks the queen and defends the rook, and the rook's hanging. f4 is too good. That's double question mark, because bishop f3 wins immediately. Yeah, here black should play bishop takes h4. It's mate. That's a ridiculous move, because now queen e8 check wins. And in this position, if white plays queen e8 check, white can take the queen, then play bishop d8, because the queen defends the bishop. And in this position, the queen on h5 is defending e8, so there's no queen e8 check. And then all that stuff went away when black played queen g4. So now after queen e8 check, black has to play bishop d8, then white takes the rook, threatening queen takes bishop mate, and white wins. And that's what happened. Then white played queen e3 instead of queen takes rook. I feel like I'm getting trolled. After queen takes rook, black can't defend their bishop on d8. I've never banned anybody from the stream because they played so badly, but I'm considering it. Okay. Queen e3 is a ridiculous move. Rook e3, hanging queen h1 mate and rook h1 mate, and not pawn takes rook. Rook e3? What kind of move is rook e3? It hangs two different mates in one. And they're both obvious. Why not take the rook on h4? Now, I've been playing chess for over 50 years, and that's easily the worst played chess game of all time. And I don't mean it's the worst game I've ever seen. I don't mean that. I mean it's the worst game of all time. Nobody's ever played worse with both sides. And there's no way that I'm not getting trolled here. And one thing that I see that you guys don't see is the colors. There's question marks and double question marks for both sides throughout the game. So like almost every move is at least one question mark. And this is the game where the guy was like saying, after watching this game, you'll give me my 2000 rating back. And again, this proves my point, which I make on stream a lot, and you guys get mad. You guys are furious when I say beginner is like up to 2200. And then these guys are 1970 and 1930, and this is beginner chess. Anyway, I was going to play in Charlotte in 12 days, but I don't think I can play chess so soon after looking at that game. I think I need to see a therapist. No, this was a 10-minute game. Here's what's funny about the game. If you don't know the opening, if you don't know this, then bishop c5 and king e7 looks insane. And that was the sanest part of the game. That was the part that wasn't insane. That was the normal part. And because people are capable of playing like this is how we get in the jam we're in, where people like Trump are elected, and Elon Musk, and Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and any Republican. This is why we're in this mess. Because people play chess like this, and it shows you the level of thinking they have, and then they get to go vote for people. I mean, if Trump and Elon Musk saw this game, they'd probably deport you. Black is Canadian. Man, we have to make you the 51st state then. Hey, I have a serious question. Because normally when I talk about Trump, I'm kidding. I don't like Trump, but I make a lot of jokes because that's what I do as a streamer. But this one I'm not joking about. Previously, Trump was like Canada and Greenland and Panama. In the last 2 months, I haven't heard about Panama. But I hear a lot about Greenland and Canada. What happened to Trump's obsession with taking over the Panama Canal? He talked about it every day for like 2 months. Then he just stopped on a dime and doesn't talk about it anymore. What happened? Oh, he talked about it a few days ago? I didn't hear him. He found a new canal. Talks about Greenland and Canada a lot. I think of the three ridiculousnesses of Greenland, Canada, and Panama, I think Canada is the most ridiculous. By the way, going to war with Canada was one of the premises of the South Park movie. Yeah, South Park movie, right. That's one of the premises. We should go to war with Canada. Yeah, but maple syrup is good. Real maple syrup, not that fake stuff. I pay $1 extra at restaurant I go to that has vegan pancakes to get real maple syrup. Canada, Norway, Indonesia. It's hard to take over Indonesia because they have hundreds of islands. And some of those islands are not controlled by the Indonesian government. Philippines is the same. I think the Philippines has more islands than Indonesia, but I could be wrong. You still remember St. John, New Brunswick, of course. We still need some subs. It's Sub Sunday, and nobody subbed today. I do remember Czechoslovakia. I was there when it was Czechoslovakia. I was in Prague, and it was Czechoslovakia. But actually, I haven't been there after they split. You got your car towed in Prague. Terrible. The vegan skeptic subscribed. Good, good. I've never been to the Baltic states before or after. I've been to the Soviet Union and Russia 3 times. How do you submit games? Impossible. Let's see. It's got to be trying to learn. It's not. Senior citizen discount, 25% off for a buffet. Wow, that's pretty good. Have you been to Belarus? I have not. I've never been to a republic that wasn't Russia. I was in Moscow 3 times. At one time, I was in Moscow just going through. I was going to Azov, which is a suburb of Rostov-on-Don, near the Sea of Azov. Come on, people, let's donate subs and sub. You've been to Batumi, Georgia. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So I was in one of the former republics. I just thought of it as Georgia because I live in Georgia. Do you celebrate Purim? I don't even know what you're talking about. I can't celebrate something I've never heard of. I celebrate my birthday. I did live in Missouri 10 years ago. So you must have been in a coma for 10 years. Have you been to Ohio? I've lived in Ohio. Jim Conchess gifted a sub. Thank you. To Justin Conclusive. No, I don't celebrate Jewish holidays or any holidays for any religion. All religions are stupid. Yeah, people who are religious are stupid. Also, people who are not religious are stupid. Ohio's your least favorite state? You got to travel more. Okay, let's go to the next game. Wait, I got $10 again from Matthew Williamson. He always gives $10. The People Are Stupid Fund. Money for people. Thanks, Matthew. You're the best. Okay, I think Black is our hero, but I'll go look. Yes, Black is our hero. This is a 10-minute game in which I walked my Black king to e5 and later on checkmated the White king on e5. Both players are approximately 1400 and it was a 10-minute game played on chess.com. I used to play that with White. That was a favorite of British GM Julian Hodgson. Man, that's a lot of bishops pinning knights, even though one of the knights isn't pinned. Bishop d7 is a very passive move. You shouldn't worry about double pawns so much. Basically, lower rated players care a lot about doubled pawns. Higher rated players don't care at all about double pawns. But somehow, lower rated players are taught not to have double pawns. All the chess coaches in the world are stupid. Because everybody's stupid. Especially the religious chess coaches. Yeah, you want to have piece activity. Bishop d7 is very passive. And knight e4 is good. That's aggressive. Never play f6. Knight e5 exclam. Now, this is actually quite humorous. For attacking and defensive purposes, the engine wants black to play h5 here. And what h5 does, attacking-wise, is black wants to play g5 and h4, trap the bishop. What it does defensively is it stops white from playing queen h5 check. So h5 is the best move. Okay, instead, black blundered and played a worse move. Who is worse, religious chess coaches afraid of double pawns or Dr. Oz? That would be Dr. Oz. No, I didn't know that, Tall Paul. Elon's worse than Dr. Oz because Elon has more to be worse about. Dr. Oz is small potatoes. It's like saying who's worse, Hitler or the kid who bullied you in school. I mean, the kid who bullied you in school, he's got nothing. It's like Dr. Oz. Okay, so black played g5, which is quite poor. Bishop d3 doesn't make any sense. White should actually play f3 here because black played f6. Also, knight takes c6 is obviously a good move because knight's attacked. Yeah, f takes is terrible. Yeah, now black's winning. King takes e5 is okay. King c5 is safer. I would play king c5 in a heartbeat because king's perfectly safe. On e5, it's not as safe. But the engine can't find anything for white to do, so it turns out it is safe. I mean, black's just up a piece. Forcing the king to safety. Knight f2, god damn. Okay, white's giving a knight's tour, and black is playing chess. All right, the rest of the game's not interesting. It's just black being up a piece for nothing. Technique's a little strange, but doesn't matter. Technique's more than a little strange, but when you're up a piece, you're up a piece. Yeah, I would definitely play queen e4 check, just so there's nothing to think about the rest of the game. Now, Black's King is exposed, so bad stuff could happen. Yeah, there we go. Yep, that was a chess game. Is Dr. Oz the guy from the children's book? No. The game wasn't terrible. No, it's the winter in the U.S. Spring is next week. Who was a bigger con artist, Dr. Oz or Dr. Phil? So, I have an ex-girlfriend who's super liberal, Democrat, watches MSNBC all the time. She even complained about MSNBC that they weren't liberal enough. Anyway, for reasons I can't explain, she's a big Oprah Winfrey fan. Not sure how that's possible. Oprah's like one of the worst people I've ever heard of. But anyway, so Oprah likes to back people like this is an Oprah person. And there's several of those people. And Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz were two of them. And there were other people, Susie Orman. Everybody that Oprah backs is a crackpot, insane person. But since my ex-girlfriend liked Oprah so much, she liked these other people too. I haven't talked to my ex-girlfriend in like 8 years, but I wonder what her opinion is of Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil and all these other criminals that Oprah hangs out with. Yeah, John Fetterman's a lunatic. There is a chess center, but it's not ours. It's the same place. They have a chess club there. Who is less of a doctor? Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, or Dr. J? Well, Dr. J's the most doctor. Dr. Phil's a registered something. Oh, snap. Go Dr. Death. I'm just reading the chat. No Bonarici. FM John Curtis chess rated. If we have any mods, can you? Oh, thanks, Tensor Extension. But seriously, yesterday when I'm on Chess TV and I had 2,400 viewers, for half that stream I had no mods, zero. I was giving shout outs. How can I have no mods with 2,400 viewers? Cali Gambler gave 800 bits. That's a lot of bits. I did ban most of my mods, but I'm not the one on trial here. Yay, John Curtis Chess 2,400. Not a beginner anymore, even by my rules. Mr. Wolf was number 5 on all-time coolest film characters. He wasn't that cool, but, you know, he was cool. He wasn't top 5. He wasn't like a little Fonzarelli. And what's Fonzie? Well, they're referring to Pulp Fiction. Correctamundo, C.L. Smith. Also, Dr. Phil impregnated that dog on Family Guy. I think Seabreeze was her name. No, they thought Brian was the father, but it was Dr. Phil. Wasn't that Ted Turner? All right, maybe you're right. It was Ted Turner. I was close. C.L. Smith remembering Family Guy better than I do. Nothing online is dumb. If you haven't seen Family Guy, you're banned. Especially since your name is Pete. Okay, next game. It says opponent versus me. So I'll assume me is the one who submitted the game. It's Kim Chi. Kim Chi beat me like, I don't know, yesterday or something. This was one of my nicer, in my opinion, whose opinion are you going to give? OTB games. I was black. It was 90-30 with 15 minutes from move 40. Endgame was apparently a little sloppy. I saw the drawing idea the computer gives, but I didn't think it would be enough for white. Apparently it is. Okay, both players are 1,800 plus tax. So it's 90 minutes, 30, and then 15 minutes, and so forth. Yeah, they're both like 1,900 on a good day. Today's not a good day. It's a Grunfeld. An opening too complex to explain to the gawking rabble. Main line. Bishop e2 is a move. Recently, bishop e3 has become more popular. I've never seen bishop b2. White should play bishop e3. After bishop b2, it says black's better. Phew. Excuse me, that's nothing to sneeze at. Or maybe it is. The engine wants to trade on d4 and then play bishop g4 so that white can't play d5 because white's bishop would be hanging. But with the pawn on c3, now white can play d5 because there's no bishop hanging. Now it says white's slightly better. Doesn't like that move because it gives up the two bishops. It doesn't like queen b3 because now black can play c4. Yeah, now it says it's equal. Doesn't like b6. Although I'd probably play b6. It wants to play rook c7 and then double rooks and eventually win the c-pawn. And it wants to play rook a to c1. White doesn't want his rook trapped on a1. So that rook to c1 is bad. g3 is just terrible. Now black's obviously better, and frankly. Queen e5 is a good move. Queen c3 leads to a drawn rook and pawn endgame, but black's better. So I like queen c3 practically. Should be a draw with best play. King f8 is not a good move. Thanks, Fanston, for subscribing. g4 is no good. f3 is terrible. Now black's better. g5 is a good move, stopping all of white's pawns. Rook f1 is terrible. Yeah, now black's close to winning. And king d4 is a mistake, it says. King d3 is a mistake. Rook b5 is a mistake. Rook a3 is a mistake. e5 is a blunder. E5 is a ridiculous blunder. Slow game. In this position, white should play d6. And then after ed, rook d5 check. Rook takes pawn. All these pawns are weak. So the engine says it's equal. Also, after d6 takes, I can take on g5 first. e5 is a ridiculous blunder because obviously black plays king c4. And I guess white didn't see king c4. I mean, what? How can you allow king c4 and then you're just losing? Terrible. e6 is the best move. Black's winning here. says D5 throws away the win, but I like D5. And it says rook E5 is a blunder. Now it says black's completely winning. Black's pawn is too strong. Oh, that's a nice way to win. Rook takes G6 check. I wouldn't have thought of that. That makes it very easy. Yeah, that was good. And white resigned. Yeah, that was nice. I like that. That was a cool way of winning. But yeah, the game wasn't very well played. Rook and pawning was badly played, especially badly by white, because E5 is such a terrible move when D6 could hold the draw. But black was better the whole game. Like, even when the engine said white was better, I preferred black's position. That was a good Grunfeld for black. That's what you want in the Grunfeld, is exactly what transpired in that game. I assume opponent didn't see king c4, otherwise you can't play e5. If black doesn't play king c4, then I have nothing bad to say about e5. Yeah, the fourth season of most shows is the best, including Futurama. That's when they figure out what they're doing. There's so many good episodes in season 4 of Futurama. Like, of the 10 best episodes, like 5 or 6 of them are in season 4. They really killed it that season. We need more chatters and subscribers and donors. You guys aren't doing nothing. You got to do your part of the stream too. Got to say silly stuff in the chat, give some subs, sub yourself, give some bits. You guys just sit there doing nothing. Have you seen the Pawn Cube opening? It sounds made up. What's the best episode of Futurama? Such a question. There's no best episode. There's just great episodes. My favorite episode, until I saw it 20 times, now it's not my favorite anymore, was Roswell That Ends Well. Total coincidence I live in Roswell. That had nothing to do with it. But I thought that was the best episode. But I mean, the top 10 episodes are all equally good. The one where Fry becomes a billionaire is very funny also. My favorite line on Futurama, and that's saying something, is actually you can bring it up on Twitch. I think you type exclam mom. Somebody type exclam mom, because it's a mom quote. Yeah, that's my favorite line on Futurama. Now I'm off to some charity BS for knocked up teenage sluts. That mom says that when she gets like her dress clothes on. I don't know who wrote that line. That person's a genius. Of course, that's your grandma. Look, come to bed, dearie. Did you play in Windsor? Uh, yeah, when I was a kid, I played in Windsor. So, like 1979 to 1984, somewhere in there, I used to play at the Y. They had chess tournaments at the Y. They were run by Valentine Hampeth. It was like 1400. But that was 40 years ago, at least. More than 40 years ago. How old am I? I'm super old. How do people not know how old I am? I'm 55. Leonida, you're playing your first tournament tomorrow. Play good. Don't play too fast and don't play too slow. Hey, what happened in the America Cup today? How did Hikaru do? And let's see, who else? And Wesley So and Dominguez. I know the other two games were drawn, but I don't know how Hikaru did against whatever that guy's name is. Mishra. Does anybody know? Also, Dominguez played So. What happened in Carissa Yip's game where she sacked all the exchanges? Hikaru and Dominguez won? Dominguez beat So. What? Anybody know how Yip did? All draws, I thought. Well, it's good you guys are giving me different, results. The first day was all draws, and second day, which was today, had two draws and two games I don't know the answer to. I can't believe any of you guys. You guys just say anything. Yep, won. Yep. Did Nazi tie her matchup because she was winning against Alice Lee? By the way, yesterday, Elon Musk commented on the America Cup, and he said one of the players is clearly his favorite. And I think you know which one it is. Hikaru, terrible answer. I think it's pretty obvious who Elon Musk's favorite chess player is. No, Hans is also wrong. No, the answer that I have makes more sense than Hans. You guys got to think outside the box. Gukesh? No. Ugh. Yeah, see, Blunder to Hope knows what the answer is. His favorite player is Pakidze because of her first name. As you all know, although probably none of you know, Nazi Pakidze has something in common with me. Do you guys know what it is? Live in Georgia? That is a good answer. Not the answer I was looking for, but I like it. Yeah, we're both vegan. No, Nazi's not old. Only I'm old. Okay, let's look at the next game. Instead of all this Nazi propaganda. Okay, it's Bonarici versus Dave Moody. Dave Moody, one of the most famous players in Michigan chess history. I assume it's the Dave Moody. No, it's another one. But honestly, can't remember anything about the game. When I was replaying the game and saw the move 14 Queen C2, I didn't like it. Today, I would play pawn takes pawn because I would hate the bind black gets with f4. However, Moody took on e4. Even though I said I don't remember the game, I can say for certain I didn't see the combo after move 18 and knight takes h3 check. It's a beautiful combo for black. Unfortunately, the game was decided by a blunder. How did you play Dave Moody in Illinois? Dave Moody played out of Michigan? What? Boats has live rated with a party of 1451. I hope you guys had a good stream. Let's give them several shouts out. I want several shouts out for the Boats has live. Go, Boats has live. Alex is the best. What about Andrea? She played the same German song on repeat for 2 hours. Sounds like something I would do. Man, no wonder Elon likes the Boats has live. Welcome to the stream, everybody, from Botez stream. Today's Sub Sunday, so people who are subs to the channel submit games on Discord, and then I look at them, and, tongue in cheek, I make a lot of fun of them. I make the person who submitted the game feel bad, and we do a little analysis. Mainly, I just talk trash. So it's different than like if Eric Rosen analyzed the game. We are on YouTube, not Twitch. We're on both. On YouTube, we have 93 viewers. On Twitch, we have 2,500. Okay, so here's Bonarici versus Dave Moody. Both players are around 1,900 on a good day. It's a Rui Lopez. It's the main line. So, Moody likes to play the Marshall Gambit, as is well known. Justin Conclusive gifted 5 subs. Thank you. Thanks for supporting the stream. We're closing in on 500 subs, but most of our streams don't get a lot of subs lately. But if 3 or 4 people gave 5 or 10 subs, we would get to 500. We're less than 40 subs away. Math isn't too good. Yeah, can we play right now? Welcome, Ben. What? Welcome me to my own stream? Okay, so D3 is anti-Marshall. The regular Marshall. White plays C3 and black plays D5. I'm surprised that Dave didn't play the Marshall anyway, even though it's not good, because he likes to play the Marshall. So he played D6, put it in H. Yeah, H3 is probably a mistake, because in this position, after D3, if black plays knight A5, E5 pawn is hanging. Knight A5 gets the 2 bishops. So after D6, black wants to play knight A5. So white has 3 moves that a grandmaster would consider here. A4, A3, and C3. H3 is amateur hour. Now black probably is better because knight A5 gets the 2 bishops. Hey, we have a hype train. Paperman 299 subscribed. That's a lot of 9s. I like that. Must be German. F7 is defended by the rook and the king. So knight G5 doesn't have a threat. That's what we call a duffer's move. Even though nobody said the word duffer in 140 years. Yeah, you don't want to give up a bishop and a knight for a rook, especially in the opening middle game. Rooks aren't very good in the opening. Bishops and knights are good. Okay, so C3, and probably Bonarici was PO'd when he played C3, and he has to play R2 to D2 to make up for C3 and being PO'd. That's like 2 jokes. Yeah, F5 is a good move. David Moody outplaying Bonarici. I've never seen anything like it. So in the preamble to the game, Bonarici was worried Black would play f4, and he said if he played the game today, he would take on f5. And then he was perplexed that Moody didn't play f4. Although the engine doesn't play f4, the engine plays queen e8 and gets the queen over here. This game was played before chess.com existed, before people were on the internet. So they're not chess.com ratings. These players aren't good enough to have FIDE ratings. These are US chess ratings. Yeah, the engine doesn't like taking on e4. Now, when Bonarici submitted the game, I was on a text chain with some of the players from the America Cup, and Carissa Yip was there. We were talking about her game, and I told her about the Bonarici game, and I said, Carissa, what would you do here? And she said, rook takes f3. A complicated joke. Okay, but Moody didn't do that. He played the engine move, knight c5. So obviously Black's better. Black has the two bishops, and Black has open f-file for the rook. But it's a slight advantage. Okay, now the engine does say rook takes f3 is one of the best moves. Always sack the exchange. And it doesn't like knight f4 because it says white's actually better after taking it. But it played knight f5, which is also good. Now, the engine is suggesting knight h3 check. And as I say that, I notice that he played knight h3 check. God damn. And the engine says this is equal. Always sack the exchange. This position is all zeros according to the engine. Now the engine prefers Black because it doesn't like king h2. Wants Black to play d5. Now it prefers White because White can counter-sacrifice the exchange and White's slightly better. Now it likes Black. Now it says it's equal. And it hates bishop d6. It says any other move is equal. Queen d7, bishop f6. After bishop d6, it says white's winning. Black needs to keep the two bishops. Queen d2 exclam. Four more muscle. Okay, and queen f6 is the worst move played today. I mean, is that true? Maybe the guy who hung mate in 1 played worse move. He hung 2 mates in 1 instead of capturing a rook. I guess that's worse. This is the second worst move played today. Now, I'm going to explain the psychology. This will go over the head of most of you. The way low-rated players think, okay, and this is all of you, is Black is threatening bishop takes bishop check. White played queen d2, defending the bishop. And then there's no more thinking. And this is a psychological problem a lot of low-rated players have. Thanks, Big Daddy, for the 1 bit. Is they don't see that moves can do several things. They don't look at different parts of the board. They just look at what's happening at the moment, and they focus on that. So if queen d2 only defended the bishop, then black has a plethora of moves. But since queen d2 also threatens the pawn with check, which obviously black didn't notice, then black should play c6. And what's worse is queen takes pawn check, wins a pawn. So it's still anybody's game. White's winning, but Bonarici's white. So it doesn't mean much. But black undefended the rook in the corner with queen f6. Basically, queen f6 hangs black's position. That's what grandmasters say when we're talking to each other. He hung his position, as opposed to he hung all his pieces. Yeah, so like queen f6 is the worst move ever, except it's not the worst move today because we've seen worse moves. Because black played queen f6 40 years ago or 30 years ago, you're all banned. Okay, the game ended with check. Obviously, black should resign. And black doesn't have any pieces left. Okay, and then black resigned. Now, if I had the black pieces and I was playing Bonarici, I would not resign. I would play e3 and hope that Bonarici doesn't see bishop takes queen because it's a backward bishop move. If Bonarici sees bishop takes queen, he'll take the bishop with the queen or the rook and I'll resign. But if he doesn't see it, then I'll take his queen and I'll win. So I would play e3 instead of resigning. But resigning is a reasonable alternative. Couldn't black win the bishop in exchange of the rook? No, because every move that white played was check. After queen f6, black took the pawn with check. And then after black makes any legal move, taking the rook is also check. So you don't have time to take the bishop and sack another exchange. Carissa Yip style. You can't play king f7 because when you're in check, you have to get out of check. King f7 remains in check. And again, the low-rated player's psychology is exactly what I was talking about, is why you suggested king f7. Because you saw this is check and this rook is hanging, so you made an illegal move because you were expecting queen takes rook. So you didn't think about whether this was legal. You just, like, the king's in check, you move the king, then he takes my rook. Like, seeing that things are happening and that other things are happening at the same time is too difficult for most people. They can't see that other things are going on. It's a 64 square chessboard, and I'm Dr. 64 squares. So I see that stuff, but you guys don't. I can't tell if the last chat is serious or not. Why can't you counter check? Technically, white makes the first move, so black should have the right to take white's king after white takes his. Normally, I would think that's a joke, but on this Twitch stream, I don't know. It is a joke. Okay, good. Before e takes f5, black could play g5 instead. What? You're saying black should play g5 here? That's the worst move I've ever seen. Before this? But you said before e takes f5, this is the only position where white played e takes f5. There is no other e takes f5. So maybe you mean in this position, do you mean g5 here? Terrible. Sorry, I meant f takes e4. Yeah, g5 is not a good move. Don't want to move pawns in front of your king. It's an aggressive move, but it's not good. So you're banned for suggesting it. Okay, we have our usual victory from Gus. Only sends games that he wins. Sort of like Sit Bear. This game was from when we met up in Foxwoods in 2022. I played better poker and chess that weekend. It's not true. But this was my best chess game. My opponent tactically blundered on move 12, which I correctly punished and was able to convert the win. By the way, I never told you this, Gus. When we were all playing, there was a hand where I called an early position, then somebody raised, then it got back to me. It was like three-way action, and I made a big raise. And then you said, yeah, you got kings, and you folded. Yeah, I had rags. I thought I would pretend I had a monster hand by calling and then making a big raise. You probably don't remember that hand because it was 3 years ago and the hand was irrelevant. But I remember you specifically saying, yeah, you have kings. And I just folded my cards I didn't show. Yeah, I actually saw Dan Harrington do that once. He called before the flop, then somebody raised and he made a big raise. And since Dan Harrington is almost as tight as Karen, but not quite, everybody folded. And he had rags too. But he knew what his reputation was. My opponent tactically blundered on move 12, which I correctly punished and was able to convert the win. Okay, so Gus is black. He's our hero. This is in Foxwoods, a slow tournament. Played over Easter weekend. It's the Night Orth. Tried and true. Tested by all GMs. I think Knight B3 is more popular, but I could be wrong. Maybe Knight F3 is more popular. I don't know. A4 is pretty unusual. What a lot of grandmasters do here is they play G6 because it's a dragon, but white can't play the Yugoslav attack because white played A4. And if you're playing black in a dragon, you're not worried about A4. That's like the last move you're worried about. So a lot of grandmasters play G6 here, but E5 is fine. Okay, white wants to capture on F6 and control the D5 square with his knight. Bishop E6 controlling D5. Bishop E2's not a good move. I think white should take on F6. Otherwise, black plays knight BD7, and then black can take back with the knight and control D5. Yeah, so now the engine says black is slightly better. Queen D2 doesn't make any sense. Now it says black is much better. Bishop h4 is not a good move. Okay, and in this position, white made a move which the computer gives double question mark. Queen e3. That move simply loses. So black to play and win. But not Gus, because he played the game. That would be cheating. Boy, you gave the move 3 exclamation marks. Then you wrote the move again with no exclamation marks. Rook takes c3, funnily enough, is the second best move, and the engine says black is +1. That's right, C.L. Smith, you're correct. Knight takes g4? There's nothing on g4. You can't take anything on g4. Very suspicious. Okay, so knight g4, that just wins a piece. Because the bishop on h4 is attacked twice, and the queen is attacked. So white can move the queen or play bishop takes e7, and in either case, it says black is +4. So queen e3 is a terrible blunder, but to be fair, white was rated 1400 something. So white's not a grandmaster. Give him a break. Okay, so this is how black wins. Knight takes c2. And what's funny is, if white had not played a4 and white's pawn was on a2, then white would move the bishop and the knight on a1 would be trapped. But since white played a4, the knight's not trapped. So black is just winning a lot of material. And black's up the exchange in a pawn. And white has nothing. White has no counterplay, no compensation. White doesn't have any attack. White can't attack any of black's pieces or pawns. And black is up a ton of material. And game didn't last much longer. There's nothing really to look at. Just black's up a lot of material. A lot of times on Sub Sunday, after 15 or 20 moves, one side is up a lot, like a queen or a rook. Then the rest of the game is just like black's up a queen. This game is just black is up a lot of material. And now black's up more material. Okay, now if you're rated 1400 and you're playing somebody rated 1700 in a slow game, you can't not resign here. Resigns is forced. Like before, white could resign, and if two grandmasters were playing, white would have resigned. But here, you have to resign. This is just silly. Gus played the professional move, making his opponent resign, which didn't make his opponent resign. Okay, now his opponent resigned. Wanted to make sure Gus saw knight e3 check. What's funny is, if black doesn't play knight e3 check, then actually, after knight f4 takes, the engine says black is +4. Black is still completely winning if black just gives all their pieces away on purpose. Man, that's when you know you're winning. You just, here's my rook, here's my knight, and I'm still winning. Also, never resign. Yeah, Gus played a good game, and his opponent played queen e3 losing on move 12. Also, it's a very strange plan to play queen d2 and queen e3. Like, queen e3 walks into knight g4, and basically in any Sicilian, if you have black, you're looking for an excuse to play knight g4. Typically, because white's bishop is on e3. But here it was white's queen. Knight takes e4 is not good. Knight g4 wins immediately. Don't look for worse moves and ask if they win. Okay, this is Magic, who I often play on Sub Saturday. Hi, Ben. Last week I sent a best game I played, and chat said that game was too good for Sub Sunday. This week, I'm sending a much worse game I played. Hopefully you enjoy it more. I edited the original submission because I fear that game was to get me banned. Okay, so this was on chess.com. It doesn't say what the time control is. So if Magic is here, he can tell us. And both players are rated almost exactly 1700. But I don't know what the time control is. So I can't, I can't say, well, what are you doing? Because if it's a 1 minute game, then, you're moving fast. Is Magic here? So he can tell us the time control? No? Okay. Truth hurts. Okay, so White's already winning. That's good. Bishop g5 is fine. Knight b4 is just a blunder. Now knight d4 just wins. Bishop b4 is the main move. Yeah, now black has just lost. Everything wins. e4 is not the best move, but it's fine. Rook b3 is a mistake. White should take on a2. Okay, it's still winning for white. Knight takes c6 is double question mark. White should just castle here and white's winning. White has everything developed and black has a queen on e5 waiting for a discovered attack. All of black's pieces are on the back row and black's never going to castle. Castles is +3. This just loses to queen takes e4 check. Now white's losing. White just loses a piece. But white has some compensation because black's position was so terrible. But if two engines are playing, then black wins. Engine says black is +2. Okay, and that's okay. This is what I said last game, not last game. This is what I said 2 games ago, and I'm afraid you guys don't get it. The psychology of what's going on and how weak players think. So weak player says, oh no, white's going to play rook e1, and then I'm in trouble. And then black forgets there's a whole chessboard. That stuff is happening. And so black makes a move that prevents rook e1, but makes another move even better. Bishop e7. Okay, ridiculous move. But the idea is it takes the sting out of rook e1. However, it gives a lot of sting to bishop takes g7. So bishop e7 is terrible. Okay, bishop f6. Taking the rook and the bishop win. Rook e3 also wins. If you want to play rook e3, there's no reason to give your bishop away on g7. So rook e3 is quite a poor move. What white should do is take either one of these pieces. It doesn't matter which one. Then if black recaptures, then rook e3. Playing rook e3 immediately means black can take the rook and then take the bishop, and material is reasonable. So there's no reason to play rook e3 now when you can take one of these pieces, which also threatens to take the other piece, then play rook e3. Bishop takes f6 is the best move, because that threatens the rook. Then if knight takes f6, rook e3. So rook e3 is quite a bad move. I'm guessing this was a blitz game. Or a bullet game. Okay, now the position's equal. Black is up material, but black's king is terrible. Okay, and bishop e6 is double question mark. After knight h6, it's equal, and after knight f6, white is better. After bishop e6, white just wins immediately. And queen d6 is ridiculous. Yeah, you just play queen h5 check, and white's winning. If you play king d8, there's queen f7, and black can't survive. Queen takes bishop, there's rook d1 check, there's queen takes b7. Black is just crushed. The engine says white is +6. But instead of queen h5 check winning, white played queen d6. Now it says after knight e7, black is slightly better. E5 is the worst move ever. And again, weak players are like, oh no, my pawn's attacked. I better not lose my pawn. Your pawn being attacked is irrelevant. What's relevant is your king on e8. And am I attacking that? So knight e7 makes the king nice and safe. Rook f8 check is terrible. Queen e6 check is winning immediately. If knight e7, then you play queen f7 check and win the bishop. If king d8, the engine announces mate with rook f7. And then it's just mate. Rook f8 check wins a pawn. So now black's winning. Black has a material advantage. Somehow black lost this position, which doesn't seem easy. King f2, god damn. That just hangs the pawn. Probably white thought he could play queen e5 check, but then bishop d6. I mean, it's like black lost on purpose. So you can take the pawn, then if queen e5 check, bishop d6. After rook f8 check, you can't take the pawn, because queen e5 check, you don't have bishop d6. But now black takes the pawn. Terrible. And the engine still says this is a draw. Well, actually, king c8 was better. Now white's winning. Knight f7 instead of resigning? It doesn't matter what black does. Black's losing the knight on e5. Black rank is weak. All right, then black not resigning, of course. I'm assuming this was a blitz game. That was pretty bad. That was a typical sub-Sunday game. Not too good. Okay. We're going to go overtime so we can get to all the games. This is from Jim. Hey, Ben. Blitz game. 5-minute, no increment. Played last week against a much higher-rated opponent. Lost on time, but I think I held my own other than losing on time. Okay, so our hero's white. He's 1156, and he's playing a 1925 on chess.com. And the hero's white. It's still theory. Yeah, this is still theory. The engine likes white a lot in this position. White has a big center. It doesn't like knight c1, but it doesn't hate it. It just makes white's advantage smaller. Yeah, and c4 is a bad move. The pawn's better on c3. You want your knight on c4. Because the pawn on c3 thwarts the black bishop. It makes the fianchetto bishop not as strong because the diagonal is blocked. Now after c4, the bishop on g7 is better. So now the engine prefers black. And here the engine plays knight h5, which attacks the bishop and threatens the b2 pawn. That would force white to play bishop c1. You don't see a lot of openings where white plays knight c1 and bishop c1 in the first 12 moves of the game. Very rare. Again, white should play knight c3 because black's bishop is on this b2 pawn. So kind of. The engine doesn't like bishop a6 because it hangs a pawn. It prefers knight a6 because the knight has really good b4 square. Now it says white should just take the a pawn and b up a pawn. Yeah, and you don't want to take with the rook. Rooks don't belong on c4 in the middle game. You take with the bishop. The rook is misplaced on c4. Now the engine says it's equal. And now black's better because the knight's going to come harass the rook. Yeah, in this position, white just played queen d2, which undefends the knight on b3. So black should play rook to b8, attacking the knight. If the knight moves away, the b2 pawn is on pre. It doesn't like doubling the rooks because the rook on c4 is trapped. That's a blunder. If white takes on e5, white's only slightly worse. Now, black can win the exchange with knight a2, which he didn't play. Knight a2 just forks the rooks. So Jim Conchess is a good student because he always sacks the exchange. Yeah, white's rook play is a little suspicious. Yeah, now knight a2 is winning again, which is weird. Yeah, it still says black's winning because black won a pawn. It doesn't like that move. It says knight e to d3 is big advantage to black. Now the position's equal. Yeah, and you definitely want to take with the bishop because taking with the pawn makes your bishop very blockaded. And as Lisa Simpson said, a blockaded bishop is of little value. Bishop on c4 is excellent, has squares on the diagonal. So this is a mistake because now the bishop on e2 is terrible. But white's only slightly worse. Engine hates e6. Says it's equal now. f4 is a good move. f6 is a terrible move. Now it says white's just winning. So this game is very instructive because no matter what the players do, black still plays f6 losing. And white played the winning move in this position, bishop g4. That's why f6 is bad. Black played the only move, f5, and now white lost on time, but white's completely winning. Just taking on e6 wins because black's position's collapsing. And white is +4. So that game, Both players had slight advantages. Black had a clear advantage. And then in this position where the engine says white is very slightly better, black played f6 losing. Black doesn't have a white squared bishop. This is exactly why you don't play f6. And then bishop g4 just wins. Crazy Kiwi subscribed. Good, good. Did Lisa Simpson actually say that? Yes. That's the episode where Homer makes Bart play golf, miniature golf, putt-putt, because he has to play against Todd Flanders or the other kid. And then Bart feels like a pawn, but he says, I feel like one of those pieces in chess that doesn't matter. And Lisa said, a blockaded bishop is of little value, but I think you're thinking of a pawn. And Bart says, yeah, I'm a pawn. Because he's only playing golf because Homer wants him to beat Flanders' kid. So he makes him, get practice and stuff. Like all parents do. Thanks, Mark Wahlberg. Man, this game has a lot of color. There's a lot of blunders this game. This is from Tortellino. I knew I was going to lose the moment I read my opponent's hyper-complicated name. OTB FIDE rated 90 plus 30 game 5 hours ago. I remembered a lecture you did for the St. Louis Club where you played the opening with white. It was a game of when you were 12 or something. After e6, I was on my own. Don't remember much. Okay, Tortellino is 1660, and his opponent is 1760. And it's a slow game, and our hero is white. Some people play a4. e6 isn't very good. White should just take on d6. But I'm not saying I wouldn't play e6, especially if I was 12. Bishop d3 is just silly. That just blocks the d pawn. Yeah, black should play knight f6, I assume. Yeah. d5 is terrible because it allows queen h5 check. d5 is a terrible move. Now white's slightly better. But actually, the engine wants to take on h7, which takes a lot of guts. But I guess the engine doesn't care. The engine knows it's not going to lose the bishop because the engine looks 100 moves ahead. But I wouldn't take on h7, but that does give white a slight advantage. Now black should play g6 and black's better. Now it says it's equal. The queen doesn't belong on f3. Queen belongs on e2, so the knight can go to f3. Boy, the engine wants to sack the exchange. It says knight takes is the best move, queen takes rook, queen g5, and black is much better. Yeah, you don't want to play rook g8. Terrible. Now it says white's better because black played rook g8. a6 is a terrible square for the knight. Oh, f4. God damn. Oh, God, that's anti-positional. Jesus Christ. King f8. Oh. d3. Oh. Hanging the a5 pawn with check. I like it. Yeah, don't take a pawn with check. Play knight d6. Okay, so it says white is slightly better. Now it says it's equal. Now it says white's better. Ah, b3. Ah, that's the most anti-positional. Now black should play knight d4. Hey, black played knight d4. Good move. Attacking everything. Making b3 look shallow and pedantic. Black's threatening, take on c2 with check. Will white see it? Oh, king d1. Yeah, king d1 loses a lot of material. Man, I was going to say there's no way that black saw it, and black saw it. So black won a lot of material refuting king d1. Carl with the C subscribed. Man, people play chess differently nowadays. We didn't play king f8 for no reason and king d1 for no reason. So black wants to play bishop g4 check. That wins material, but there's a knight on e5, so black took the knight on e5. And then played bishop g4 check and wins a lot of material. Now it says white can resign. Okay, black's only up in exchange. It's still a game. And now it says white's only slightly worse. Now it says it's equal. King g5, Nigel Short. Wait, now g5 check is double exclam. Nobody's playing that. This is still winning for black. Rook f2 exclam. Black wanted to play rook g2, so rook g1. That just loses to rook takes c5 and black's several pawns ahead. Always good to sack the exchange. And black's up 3 pawns. So black shouldn't have any trouble winning 3 pawns up. Man, the truth hurts. Somehow white's not resigning. How do you not play d3, d2, d1 here? How do you do it? This is how you do it. And then white resigned. Strange moment to resign. Yay, Carl with a C. It's your first time in Las Vegas? Yes. I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay, go to the Wynn Casino Hotel, Wynn, W-Y-N-N. Just walk around. Just walk around the Wynn. That's all you have to do. It's just fun to walk around the Wynn. Okay, then for breakfast, the best breakfast in Las Vegas is at the Wynn. I think it's called Terrace Point Cafe. Yeah. It's beautiful inside the restaurant. You feel very opulent. The food is fantastic. The service is fantastic. And I always go there 2 or 3 times for breakfast because I'm a vegan and they have certain vegan things that say vegan. You don't have to get that. They have regular food. But they have some vegan stuff too. So go to the Wynn and walk around. And then if you get in breakfast, go to the Terrace Point Cafe. And most importantly, when you go to the Terrace Point Cafe, don't expect it to be cheap. Yeah, all cities have good vegan options. Anyway, that's my favorite breakfast place in Vegas is the Terrace Point Cafe. And then for dinner, again, this place has a vegan menu if you ask for it, but it has a regular menu. It's a regular restaurant, but they have a vegan menu also. And it's at the Bellagio, also very nice. It's called Harvest. Harvest. And again, bring money. Harvest isn't cheap. And make a reservation. And the food is fantastic. The service is fantastic. It's very nice inside. Great atmosphere. Harvest at the Bellagio. Does Flint have a good vegan option? Probably. Terrible. So Terrace Point Cafe at the Wynn for breakfast, and for dinner, Harvest at Bellagio. Make reservation. And bring money. Those places aren't cheap. You do have to bring money everywhere, but the places that I told you to go are expensive and they're worth it. Go C.L. Smith. I'm going to Vegas twice this summer. I'm going to the National Open to work at the tournament. That's the beginning of June. Then mid-June to early July, Karen and I are going for the World Series of Poker. I'll be staying at the Flamingo for the National Open, because that's where the National Open is. I like the Flamingo too, because their Mexican restaurant has great vegan options. It even says vegan. And I like the Flamingo. It's nice. And then the Horseshoe is where the WSOP is, so we're staying there for the World Series of Poker. So yeah, go to Vegas. But yeah, just go to the Wynn and walk around. It's the best casino hotel. And then if you want to go downtown just to see downtown, which is fine, then go to Circa. It's 21 and over casino, and you have to show ID to get in. If you're 50, you have to show ID. You have to show ID. If you're 80, you have to show ID. And no kids allowed. And it's nice to walk around Circa. That's also nice. Not as nice as the Wynn, but for downtown, Circa's the best. And then walking downtown is nice. The Fremont Street experience is okay. And in this instance, make sure your wallet is zipped up and hidden. Make sure nobody can find your wallet. The best casino hotel in Vegas is the Wynn. But if you like downtown, then go to Circa and walk around downtown and try not to get mugged. Trying is the first step to failure. The Venetian is still good, yes. The Wynn is beautiful inside. Very ornate. Okay, last game. Hi, Ben. I recently got my initial classical FIDE rating of 2121, having gone 5-0, suspiciously high rating considering that my highest rated opponent was 1927. Also suspicious considering how badly I play the openings. Exhibit A, this game. This was my 6th classical game since my return to OTB, and another victory. It was a tough game until it wasn't. Apart from my opening struggles, I also struggled to find winning ID in the middle game. If my opponent played 44 rook e5 instead of rook e6, I'm not sure I would have been able to convert. Okay, and White's rating is 1784. This was a very long game, and our hero is black. Okay. Okay, Queen's Gambit accepted. Bishop b4 is not the best move, but all right. It's playable. Bishop a5 is not a good move. You don't want your bishop on a5. d6 or e7 is better. Now white has a huge advantage. As you pointed out, you don't play the opening very well. The Queen's Gambit accepted. Your first goal is to play c5. And you played any move but c5. You played bishop b4, bishop a5, bishop b6, a6, castles. Needed to play c5 as soon as possible. Bishop b4 doesn't help you play c5. You have to attack the center because you're giving away the center by taking on c4. All right, so black's just very passive. This position's not good for black. The engine just says white's winning now. Knight d6. Yeah. White's playing fantastic, and it says that white's rating was 1784. White's playing like a grandmaster. White's strategically winning. White's done nothing wrong. Probably your opponent was using an engine. Queen g4 is the best move. Good thing your opponent's engine ran out of batteries. The best move here is pretty funny, actually. Well, it says rook e1 is good, but rook a3 is the coolest. Get your rook over here and play for mate. g3, it's not terrible. Yeah, the engine hates f5. But I can see you're getting smushed. Wow, queen takes g6 check. Is winning. It's completely winning. Wow, queen takes g6 check. King takes g6. Bishop d3 check. King h5. Knight f7. And white has a winning attack against the black king. That's amazing. Even if I saw that, I wouldn't play it. Okay, he played knight f7. Now you're slightly better. So white was winning by sacking his queen, but very few humans would do that. No 1700 would do it. Now it says the position's equal, but it's the kind of equal that's not going to end in a draw. This is the kind of equal where somebody's going to win. It's very double-edged. Now it says black's better. But not much better, just, better. Now it says black is +1. Now it says equal. It doesn't like king f7. Now it says black's winning. It says white needs to play rook d6. The idea is you want to win the c6 pawn, but the c6 pawn is defended by the knight. So you play rook d6, then you take the knight, then you take the c6 pawn, then the large women again, then the petite women, and then the most beautiful women. Okay. Now it says after knight d5, black is in the driver's seat. Black seems to be just playing random legal moves. Black's still better. Black has a blockade on the queen side. White's extra pawn is meaningless. Thanks to Mercante33 for subscribing. Took an a pawn, that's good. Ooh, bishop takes b4. God damn. It's hard for this pawn to promote because there's a knight in front of it and there's a bishop in front of it. And then white says, don't worry about that. I'll let your b pawn promote because there's nothing in front of it. And I'll make it go up a rank. Bishop takes b4 is terrible. Yeah, now this is just winning. Yeah, this is just easily winning. This is the not resigning again. Black's up 2 pieces. God, queen another pawn. God damn. Why do people play out in these positions? What are you hoping for? What? Okay, now there was a position where you said in the preamble, let me see what you said. 44. Okay, your opponent played rook e6, and you said, I don't know how I would have won if he played rook e5. Well, I don't see the difference. Against rook e6, you played knight b6 and took his pawn. Against rook e5, it doesn't play knight b6. Is there some trick I'm missing? Oh, he could play rook c5 and double up on your a pawn. Yeah, the engine doesn't say you're winning. It says you're up 0.7. So rook e5 is better than rook e6. After rook e6, now it says you're +1. Then bishop takes b4 is a horrible move. Like here you're winning, but you're like barely winning. But after this, you made several queens. Yeah, you can't let somebody get a passed pawn like that. God damn. King's coming up and knight's here. Bishop takes d4. Terrible. Anyway, you played better than your opponent and you deserve to win. Eric Rosen and Levy are the reason nobody resigns anymore. God damn. I think you were praising Eric Rosen and insulting Levy. I'm not sure, but that's what it seemed like. I guess Bonarici went to bed a long time ago. Anyway, that's the stream. Thanks for submitting the games. You stayed up. Thanks for submitting the games, and thanks for donating and supporting the stream. Thanks to everybody on YouTube. There weren't as many of you as people on Twitch. How can you improve in tactics? Play better. Okay, let me raid somebody. Thanks for the Boats Has live raid. Let's see. Poker, chess, poker, marbles. Okay. Okay, guys. I'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.